Okay, so the question is, if the parents think that the doctors or the nurses, that they were the ones who caused their baby's traumatic brain injury at birth, like let's say HIE, is that enough? Is that enough to get that case into court or to get it moving forward on a litigation track? Not only just for the parents, what if a birth injury attorney like myself, what if I think just on my own that the doctors or the nurses, that they did something wrong? Is that enough along with what the parents are saying? To really be able to answer that question, you've got to understand essentially what has to be done to prove medical malpractice in a birth injury or a birth trauma case. What we are really getting at are a couple of issues, and the first one being is, what is the standard of care? And when we're talking about the standard of care, look at it this way. What would a reasonable and prudent medical professional, doctor or nurse, what would a reasonable and prudent medical professional do in the same set of circumstances? That is going to essentially be your standard of care. And then whether there was a departure, whether the doctors and the nurses, whether they did not follow the standard of care, and that by not following the standard of care, that is what caused the injury or the harm. Now, once we spin it all the way around and we go back to the first part of this video, who talks about the standard of care? Is it going to be the parents? Or is it going to be the lawyer? No, that's not how the standard of care works. Another medical professional has to give an opinion as to the standard of care. So it's not enough for the parents to just think that something went wrong or the lawyer to think that something went wrong. You have to have medical experts who will give these opinions. They will write these opinions down, put these opinions in reports, and they will testify as to these opinions. That is extremely important to understand that, because in a lot of places, like a state like here in Maryland, if you don't have the medical experts who are qualified to give these opinions, then your case more than likely will not be successful. So it's not just enough, like I said earlier, it's not enough just for the for the parents and for the lawyers to think that something went wrong. We have to have these medical experts. Now, the second part, how do we find these medical experts? I mean, if you're watching this video right now, you may be saying, well, look, I don't have any money to hire these medical experts to be able to give these opinions as to standard of care and causation and injury and all that. Like, where do we get this? How does this happen? Well, when you speak with a birth trauma attorney like myself and like how my firm does it, we speak with the medical experts. We know what experts to contact and what experts may be needed for certain types of issues with these types of cases. So a lot of times the lawyers or the law firms, they will, because of this is what they do, they will already know what medical experts are needed, and they will be able to talk with those medical experts, especially when they're doing the front end investigation. They'll be able to find these experts and get opinions about what may have happened in your baby's case or in your situation. So that is normally how we deal with the expert thing. Now, there's another issue that comes up with this, and this is extremely important for you to understand. When you speak with a law firm or an attorney about an investigation into whether the medical professionals or the hospital, whether they departed from that standard of care causing your child's injury or harm, you need to know on the front end in that initial investigation, who is going to pay for these experts? Are you going to have to pay for those experts initially, or is that something that the law firm is going to do? Like I said, with our law firm, on the investigation, we do not charge you initially for that investigation as to talking to these experts on the front end. That's going to be something that we will handle on our side. Not every law firm is going to do it that way. So you've got to understand, and you got to make sure that you know what you're getting into when you're talking to the to law firms and to an attorneys when you are trying to get help as to an investigation as to the cause of your child's injury. Make sure that you know Who is going to pay for this up front? Are you going to have to come out of your pocket up front before they will even do anything? Or is that something that the law firm is going to deal with in regards to the initial investigation on their end? So I know I talked about a lot in this video, and the purpose of this is to help you understand these critical issues, because a lot of times when I talk with families, you know, that's one of the first things that come out of parents' mouth. Look, I know that they did something wrong. This had to be medical malpractice. I know the doctor, they couldn't have done this right. And I'm just trying to help you understand. You may be on the right track with your gut feeling, but these issues have to be supported by the necessary and the qualified medical professionals. If you have more questions about this, maybe your child has suffered an HIE injury, or you've got a subsequent CP or cerebral palsy diagnosis, and you're dealing with a lot of stuff. Maybe you're not sure how you are going to pay for your child's care. You know, the bills may be mounting up, and you just don't know what to do. You don't know if the hospital or the nurses or the doctors are responsible. Did they cause this? If you have that going on, there's a telephone number down below on the screen. What I invite you to do is to go ahead and pick up the phone and call me. I speak with families like yours all the time about these issues, and they'll be happy to take some time and speak with you about what you got going on. Remember, it costs you absolutely nothing to initially talk with me about your baby story. One more thing before I get out of here. When you call my office and you talk with the secretary and everything, and they give you the calendar of dates that we're available to talk, be sure to pick a date and a time. That is extremely important, a date and a time, so I can know when to, we can know when to call you back and get you scheduled for everything. One more thing before I get out of here. I practice law here in the state of Maryland, and I know this video is on certain social media platforms, it's on the internet, and from time to time I have people who will contact me and they are not in the state of Maryland. You have to understand that if you do contact me and you are not in Maryland, that we have to use what we call co-counsel or local counsel. In other words, an attorney in your state. And that's something that we can help, give you information, help you work with you on with that co-counsel and that local counsel aspect of things. But I just want to make sure that if you're not in Maryland, that you understand that local counsel or co-counsel aspect of stuff. All right, that's going to be it for today's quick educational video. Again, I'm Marcus Boston, and I'm one of the childbirth injury and medical malpractice attorneys practicing law here in the state of Maryland at Boston Law Group, LLC. Talk with you next time. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.